this is what I believe is going to be one of the main things that you need to understand when it comes to transferring from field to phone. And these are the sets, SETS, the sets that you need to have in order to make this be a successful transition.
Before I forget, go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel.
If you don't have these sets, then you will have problems because you will not be able to adapt and overcome in the manner in which you need to. So I'm going to start out with the 3 sets that you need in order to be successful going from field to phone. The first set you need is mindset. You got to have the right mindset. The mindset is so key because it is the thing that will change. This probably is the most important of all the sets, because if you look at it, if you develop a mindset that when you develop this mindset, when you develop your mindset, you'll be able to see the challenges, and then you'll be able to not see them as challenges, but see them as opportunities to grow and opportunities to learn. When you started out in the field, door knocking, you had no idea what to do, but you had challenges, and you either overcame those challenges or you didn't, and you just did. But these challenges that you come in contact with, you will have challenges when it comes to doing phone sales. You'll have challenges doing telesales. And if you treat those challenges as if they are something that you can't overcome, you will be out of business. I can't tell you how at the beginning of COVID, when people had to transition from field to phone, and we were having conversations, I would have conversations with agents, and they were like, well, this is going to be a challenge. They were making up challenges before they even happened. And I'm not good at this. I can't do this on the phone. It's not going to work on the phone. It's false. You took those challenges, instead of making those challenges something that you can overcome and opportunities to learn, and put yourself in a situation, well, how can I learn to do this instead of just looking at it as a challenge? That was the problem. So people got out of business. So that was, you develop that mindset to see challenges as opportunities. Visualize your success, and visualize what it looks like for you to achieve your goals. So you can have visualizations every day, every month, every week. So you say, at the end of the day, I want to have this. I want to visualize what I want my life to look like. I want to visualize what I want my day to look like in order for me to have success. And that's the key right there. You got to visualize what you want it to look like versus what it actually is. And this is not woo-woo. This is me really telling you, when you get up and you, whether it's in the morning, whether it's at night before you go to sleep, in the morning before you get out of bed, you say, I want my day to look like this. I want to make these many calls. I want to have this many opportunities. I want to be able to whatever. But you got to visualize what you want that to look like. And you got to create this routine. You got to stick to it. Because if you got to create, so that's number 3 under mindset, you got to create a routine, and you got to stick to that routine, because the consistency is the thing that's going to get you over. So if you don't stick to your routine, so in order for you to stay focused and productive, you got to stick to your routine. You got to say, okay, I'm going to do this every day, or I'm going to do this every other day. I'm going to do this 3 days a week, whatever it is. You got to stay consistent to that routine. And you got to say, I'm going to do it no matter what. When you're out in the field, and I remember being out in the field, and you weren't able to get, access people who would call you. They would call you in the field, and they'll say, okay, I need you to do something. Your son, your daughter, your wife, your husband, your grandkids, whatever. And you're like, well, I can't do it right now, but I'll be able to get to you in 2 hours. You got to keep that the same way, because when you're working, you're working. You don't take time off because you're working, and that's the key. You got to stay consistent. If you're going to do this 3 days a week, if you're going to do it every single day of the week, if you're going to do it 7 days a week, whatever you say, I'm going to do 80 calls, 100 calls every single day. That's the thing that's going to help you. There's safety in that consistency. You got to stay consistent. And if you don't stay consistent, then you're shooting yourself in the foot, because why are you doing this? You were consistent when you were out in the field. Why not be consistent at home? And you got a lot of distractions. You got more distractions at home than you do out in the field. All right. On top of what I just gave you is take breaks. I can't tell you how important these are. I look at them as mini vacations. So if you're on the phone and you're hammering the phone and you're doing it over and over again, you have to take breaks. You have to take breaks. You have to take breaks. I can't say that enough. If you do not take a break, then again, you're going to burn out. So what I like to do, you got to take a break to either, read a book, get away from the work, read a book, watch a video, eat. Take a break to do something other than the work, and try to take your mind off of the work. Because once you move away from work, you want to make sure I just call them mini vacations throughout your day. And I think that's key. If you don't take these mini vacations throughout your day, you're gonna run yourself ragged, and you're gonna find yourself in a situation where you're gonna get burned out. You got to take these breaks. And I used to say, when you break, break. Make sure you break. Don't do anything else but break, because you're gonna come back to work and you're gonna be refreshed and renewed. And the other thing is, you got to embrace these failures, because you're gonna find yourself, and you know what, you're gonna win or you're gonna learn. I don't even look at failures as failures. I look at them as learning opportunities, because you're going to find ways to get you set back. You're going to find ways to make you discouraged. You'll find them. You don't have to look for them. I mean, they'll show up. You won't have to look for them. So you got to make sure that whatever you decide to do, that you don't look at your challenges as, I can't do this. Like I said, during COVID, people counted themselves out. I can't do phone. I can't sell over the phone. I can't do it. Didn't even try. And if they did try, they tried for, a day or two, a month, maybe not even a month, a few weeks, maybe not even that, a few days, and they didn't see themselves achieving. Just like when you're out in the field, you had to learn how to speak to people out in the field. It's another thing that you have to do, and your mind has to be in the right space to say, if I have a challenge, I don't quit. I look at my challenge as a way to overcome. If I don't succeed, if I have a failure, I learn from that failure. If I have a win, I win, and I learn from that win. If I have a failure, I learn from that failure. So you win or you learn, really. And you got to just say, okay, what's the thing that I'm not excelling in? How can I get more information and be able to excel in it? So you really got to change and shift your mind, because you're not out in the field anymore. You're literally in and you'll see, I've talked about this. I don't always like to be in my home office. I'm in my home office now, but I don't like to be in my home office all the time. That's because at that time, my mindset needs that. I need to change. I need to shift. And that doesn't mean that I spend all day at the pool or at the beach, or I spend all day at, working all day. I may take the appointment there and then go do what I want to do. And now you're building your life, you're building your work around your life versus your life around your work. Okay. All right. So let's deal with the number two. Number two is skill set. Skill set. Going from field to phone is going to require you to do something different. You're going to have to develop a different skill. You cannot see the people. And because you cannot see the people, it's like the whole idea of when you lose a sense, your other sense are heightened. But you can't see the people. So you have to develop, you have to practice, I should say, active listening. You got to be listening, because you want to better understand people's needs and concerns, because you can't see them on the phone. You got to understand what they want. And you got to be able to kind of understand how to get them down the path. And I do a lot of things when it's active. What made you fill out that form? What made you, when you saw the video, why'd you fill it out? Or do you have life insurance? Or that's an easy one that you would say, but who was this for? Was it for you or for someone else? Do you have a will? Do you have a plot? I'm asking questions constantly. What's the first thing the funeral home wants when someone dies? And if you tell me you got $10,000, how much money were they trying to spend? This is me. I'm asking more questions, because my skill set says I have to do something different, because I have to make sure that they're not only am I active listening, they're active listening. Why do I ask the questions? Grab a pen and piece of paper, because I want to make sure they're engaged, and I want to make sure they're listening to what I'm doing, what I'm saying to them, so they're actively listening. They just like I have distractions, they have distractions, but I have to keep them engaged. I ask questions. If you're not asking more questions than you're talking, then you're missing it. And I'm not saying that you just flutter questions, but just questions. Part of your pitch, questions, part of your pitch. You want to always incorporate questions inside of your pitch. You want to be more of a consultant. So you want to be able to guide them through, So would you agree that because you don't have life insurance, that when it comes time to take care of everything, that your family might not only be struggling emotionally, but they'll probably be struggling financially, and you get their agreement with that. And that's a skill. You got to get their agreement. Once you get their agreement, then you can take them to the next level and just keep talking to them, right? So it's going to take you to do something different. You got out your car, you knocked on the door, you got back in your car, you went to the next house, and whatever you did, this is something different, but it still works, right? So when it comes to objections, you want to hone in on your objections, all right? You want to be able to figure out or know before you even get to the end of that presentation, what are they going to be? What the objections are going to be. You need to have the foresight in the skill set. You have the foresight to say, what are their objections going to be? Let me be able to cut their objections before they have them. And what are their objections? Let me kill them all. Answer those questions beforehand. Get them out the way so that you can go through your pitch, and before you have very minimum objections by the end. So you got to be able to develop that skill set. And The other thing is you want to invest in training, man. This right here is a training. And you invested your time in this training, because if you got those weaknesses and you like, I can't do it over the phone, whatever that weakness is, go to a training and invest in it and be able to say, okay, how can I get better at this? How can I be better at this? And how can I educate myself to have the skills to stay up to date on what is needed to be able to be more successful? You got to invest in that. Because if you don't invest in that, if you don't invest in yourself, you'll never have the skill set to do this from home. I've been doing it from home for now, at the time of this video, about 3 years. I have no desire to go back out in the field. Okay. Being able to do this from home has freed up my time. I was actually looking at one of my awards, and I looked at the award and I said, wow, when I was out in the field, I did X amount of production. And I said, I'm probably not going to do the same amount when I come home. I managed to maintain the same consistency and production as I did when I was out in the field from being on the phone. And all I got to do is turn the dial up a little bit, and I go people who are either out in the field and they're not having success out in the field, or for people who are having success out in the field and they want to come out of the field. And in both cases, they probably want to come out of the field. All right. So the next set, the last set, is the tool set. This actually is probably the most exciting for me. When you are out in the field, or when you're out in the field, one of your biggest tools is your vehicle. You put gas into it, you pay insurance on it, you either bought it, you make sure the tires are rotated, the oil's changed. You do or you don't, I don't know. You do all the things you need to do. So that's a tool, right? Your pen, your piece of paper, that's a tool. Your tablet, that's a tool. Your iPad, that's a tool. All these things are tools. So the tool set is so important when you're switching from field to phone. So I have a few things that I utilize all the time because I understand. So one of the biggest things is my headset. I want to have a great headset so that when I go to talk to people, they hear me at the best quality they can. And if they're so the only thing that matters is what the client experience. So that the background noise is very minimal and they can hear me. So tools are key, but you're transitioning. And in transitioning, you need to make sure that you have the right tools to transition. So this thing right here, this is a tool, right? This thing right here is a tool. And let me say something to you. Your tools should be your tools. If you have a tool for business, it should be for business. My kids, no, don't play with my phone. My grandkids, don't play with my phone. This is not a toy. Popper's phone is not a toy. Popper's phone is for business. So there's no videos they watch on here. There's no games they play on here, download on here. This is business. They know. Play with somebody else's phone. You can't play with mine. My iPad, not a toy, not a toy. Here's the most frustrating one for me. Your computer, just like you have a car for business, you need to have a computer for business. Everybody can't be on that computer. You can't have your son, your daughter on there playing games, doing homework, whatever, and you need to use it. And you're like, well, I got to wait for them to get off. Last thing you want is you get a call from a client and the computer's so slow that you can't find the client's paper. Well, hold on a second. I can't find it here. Let me just pull it up. That's a problem. So I switched to the MacBook because for me, that has worked very well. It's not a commercial MacBook, but I got a 16-inch MacBook. It just works better for me when it comes to what I need to do. It's been more reliable to me than a PC. Now, don't tell nobody I said that because I'm not I have the Mac, I don't have the Apple iPhone, the Apple sneakers, the Apple Watch. I don't have all that, but I do have this because the MacBook has worked well for me. So those are a couple of things, but the main thing I have is I have a system that I use to be able to communicate with my clients. It does phone calling, text messaging, calendar setting, appointment setting, email, social planner, Zoom. It does everything all in one. I can do everything in one. And for me, it was a no-brainer because I was like, all right, wait a minute. So I paid money for a car. Why not pay for a system that with maybe one app, I could take care of that system a month and write more business? I literally am more productive because of, if you don't embrace technology, you're out of business in the next 6 months to a year. You got it. The tool allows me to have automation, some AI, some artificial intelligence. So I don't have to remember, who I need to follow up with. If you think about it, I know how many lost appointments are you having per month because you're using pen and paper? I'll wait. Probably more than 2, more than 5, because you forgot to follow up with somebody. The one thing I love about automation, better than people, is that it works. It works at 3 a.m. It works at 6 p.m. It just continues to work. I don't have to feed it. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't slow down. Automation continues to work. When I get a lead or I put a lead in, that lead is continuing to be nurtured without my involvement, but it looks like I'm nurturing them. They can watch videos, they can get text messages, they can they can hear audios, they can read articles, and that's because they're getting the information that's is being sent to them through automation. Now, I can function by talking to multiple people at one time. So it's called doing one-to-many versus one-to-one. What you're doing out in the field is one-to-one because you have nothing working for you in the background. Automation allows me to have stuff working in the background. And I can't tell you how many telesales people I talk to. I say, so when you make your sales, how many people you call? I'll call like 80 people a day. So how do you do it? I just dial a number. What? You're actually dialing a number in 2023? What? Get through multiple calls in minutes. I can be in New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina, Maryland in minutes. And if I don't get a person on the phone, I'm going to the next call. If I don't get a person on the phone, I'm going to the next call. All right. Because my goal is to get a person on the phone. I can leave a message, automate it. I can shoot a text message, automate it. Somebody doesn't show up for an appointment, automation. Somebody misses a payment. My clients miss a payment, automation. Somebody's birthday, automation. I did this the other day. Send them a birthday text 30 days before their birthday. I forgot I did it. Automation. I got a sale just from sending that. Hey, your birthday's coming up. You know you can increase your policy before your birthday. It's going to be cheaper if you do it before your birthday than you do it on your birthday. Automation, right? These are the things that you need in order to be successful. If you are not utilizing automation, if you're not utilizing tools, you're gonna miss it. I don't actually use Zoom or Google Meet. I do all my sales over the phone because I take everything. I'm in the right mindset when I start making the phone calls. I have the right tool, the right skill sets. I have the right skill sets to know that I'm either going to, when I make my phone session, I'm either going to make a sale, make an appointment, or give a quote. And even if I give a quote, I'll make an appointment to make the sale. So one of those three things are going to happen. I already know that in a phone session. And I got the right tool sets. I got everything that I need in order to be successful so that I can be able to, generate activity to close sales. I literally speak to less people than I did out in the field on a daily basis, but I close more business because I have automation working in my favor. Just tell you how it works. All right, so don't forget, guys, you have to have the right mindset, you have the right skill set, and you have the right tool set. Those are the three sets that you need in order to be successful when you're going from field to phone in this industry. All right, so again, this is Will with Mastering Final Expense without knocking a single door. Take care.